Good evening, everyone. Late video here. Just got back from the movies. Uh, did my homework beforehand though, but wanted to see how Globex played out a little bit. Now, what we have today? Today was a back test of that level there, 427 and 39 cents. I think, yeah, 37 cents ended up being the high of the day. That I think lines up perfectly with the monthly open. Where is that? Yeah, the monthly open was at 426 and 62 cents. So what I was looking for this morning was we had a nice sell-off overnight, managed to get into yesterday's lows, and to me the rally was simply short covering before further move downward. I'd mentioned pre-market what I was looking for was for us to get into Friday's lows, the overnight, or sorry, last night's overnight low, break Monday's low of the day, get into that Wednesday low sort of area, get into where we had these huge bids, and I wasn't sure if we'd actually be able to press down below last week's low. Uh, Statistically, based on where we opened, I wasn't really looking for us to get much below kind of 42.50 to 55, and I think that did mark the low of the day. I think our RTH low came in at something around their 30-minute bars here, hide all that crap. Low of the day, 51-ish. So yeah, and for a while it was right on 57 for a nice whatever that is, 30, 20-point move. Yeah, 21-point move. So I was impressed with the selling. Once again, another nice volume session. You can see how high these volumes and the volatility has been. The ranges, especially ever since kind of starting this mid-month sell-off. For before then, we're just having these low volume consolidation. So it's nice to see that we're getting some strong movement. Now, I'd mentioned that if we break last week's low, what I'll be looking for is for us to get into kind of this sub 419 area, somewhere around 418. So I am looking for continued selling going into tomorrow. Nasdaq, similar story. It looks like we're finally getting some volumes on the sells, but we are yet to get into this Wednesday low. We did a double bottom here, almost the tick, I believe. This is coming in at 353 and 24 cents, 28 cents on today's low, so just 4 cents off of there. So the Nasdaq continuing to get some. I would imagine this is simply beginning of quarter inflows, just keeping this thing afloat. Decently red day though. Apple not really, not really. Minus 0.75%. Tesla, whatever, a couple percent is nothing really much for it. So I'm not really seeing that excessive selling on the Nasdaq. I think eventually we get into this 347 spot. Whether we backtest this main level I've had for a while here, I'm not too sure. The Nasdaq just really staying quite bid. And it's important to also remember that the Nasdaq was the one that was leading this rally all year long. Actually, you can see January marked the lows, and we rallied really strongly off of it all the way up into February. And this was just I'm not sure what you call this, a bull flag or something, a low volume channel followed by a strong move upwards. Whereas on the SPY, you can see we revisited that January low back in March. The Nasdaq has been leading all year long, just like how it led the downfall during 2022, the sell-off that year. So anyway, getting a little bit all over the place. Apologies, it is late at night. Futures are trading down. This is quite aggressive selling for so early in the night. About 2.5 hours into it, we got some strong down moves. It looks like we were having some covers to around today's lows, and it's looking like we're going to get a continued move downwards. Same thing on the Nasdaq. We've broken. Oh, have we come to it? 651 half and 652. So we're a couple ticks shy of today's low of the day. Once again, I think this is great evidence of just how much more bid the Nasdaq is. We've thoroughly cleared the lows on ES, yet the Nasdaq is it's just hard to kill it. Now, for tomorrow, in terms of trading this thing, what am I looking at? Well, if we manage to get an open, sorry if this is a little bit too ugly. These are 5-minute bars. If we manage to get an open somewhere below, this is equivalent to about 42.77 on ES, last week's low. That's all you got to think of it as. There's last week's low here on Wednesday. If we get an open below here, that also counts as last month's low, by the way. If we get a close somewhere or an open somewhere below here, I'm going to be leaning bearish for us to break this RTH low here down at 420, whatever that is on ES, 40, 42, 50 and change. Uh, if we open below the close, I'm going to be even more bearish. I'll be looking for us to get some sort of continuation to the downside. I look for us to also take out the overnight low at that point, which again is currently trading at 42.46. So I'd imagine we'd get at least a sell from whatever that is, 65 down to 46, 45. Furthermore, if we open outside the -3 standard deviation of last week's VWAP, I would expect us to have some really nice downward movement. I would imagine this 418 area gets tagged. I'm not sure how far back I have to scroll here. There we go. But I imagine there is a bid somewhere around here. This was the breakout session that led to the whatever following month or so of gains. So I imagine there will be some nice bids here, somewhere around 415 to 418. Get on the big chart. That's where you're looking at right here, right at the top. Right at the top of this consolidation, both in this time frame and this time frame, somewhere around here, these these whatever 415 to kind of 418 area, there will probably be bids here. So what I'm going to be looking to do, if I get the opportunity to do so, is to take this thing short, provided we open underneath this kind of 42.77 that last week and last month's low. Provided we open below there, I'll be looking to get short against the overnight high for a move into today's low of the day, this RTH low of the day from today's session, and the overnight low. And once we start getting to this 418 sort of area and lower, I probably won't be bidding this thing up, but I will be holding off on shorts. If I'm short, I'll be holding on to runners. Now, if instead we open above, back inside last week's range, I'll be looking for a reclaim of the 95% weekly value area low, if not the -2 standard deviation of last week's VWAP, and then looking to get short somewhere around settlement lows up to this kind of 425 area. This has been the primary area of interest. Here you can see the clear zone. Even on the big chart, you can really see that clear area right around 425 where we held this auction back in early June. On the Qs, similar idea. Sorry, above there. Not too interested in this thing, to be honest. I think this is about the range that I'll be interested in participating in, something like this, something like that. I don't imagine we get into last week's range for what it's worth. The Qs, similar story. I'd be willing to play this sort of range, something like this. I doubt we'll be back testing that monthly open, that 358.5 sort of number. If we expand this out a little bit, I doubt we'll be back testing this area tomorrow. Instead, what I'll be looking for is some sort of selling around either the close or the point of control or something like that, maybe up to the IB low, or this primary area of interest. It happens to be where we closed VWAP last week, but you can really see that's been the clear over-under for this zone. Held for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday morning, I believe. Yeah, Thursday morning here held as well before that huge ripper in the afternoon. What is that, 356s? Yeah, kind of somewhere around here, this level here. That was the primary level that held us down back in early June. So I'm looking for a down day, once again, another down day. Perhaps we get some covers around here. We are still trading inside last week's range on the NASDAQ, so perhaps some covers around the -2 standard deviation or the prior month's low. Below there, I'd be waiting for this kind of 349, 348 area, somewhere around here, somewhere around these lows, the lows of this little balance here. I think you get some sort of covers. News-wise, non-farm employment change at 8:15, 10 a.m., ISM PMI. Nothing really to add to this. I am leaning bearish, not for some end-of-the-world selling, but there we go, broke that low finally. But I am looking for either a gap down session or some sort of session overall that defends these overnight highs, that defends last week's low around 77. I think really what we should be looking for is maybe a sell around this kind of 57 to 65 area, and look for continuation down to whatever is equivalent to this 416 to 418 area on SPY. Hope that makes sense. Hope that helps. I know, a bit rambly here, 10 minutes. It's late at night. Have a great night. Trade safe.